Okay, so here's the bees that we hived on Saturday. This is now Tuesday morning. So they've been in here a while, and keeping my eye on them, you can kind of see that they're getting a little more active. They're coming in and out. Here's the entrance. Quite a bit of activity. So I wish I had a tripod. And there's some of them, sometimes they're bringing in pollen, although they're not really doing that right now. Sometimes they come down here, they come right out of the hive, and in the mornings they just land down here in the grass. And when there's dew on, they will land on the grass and just soak up the dew. There's probably maybe 20 bees in the early mornings when the sun just hits them, and they come out and they gather water. It's one of the first things they do in the morning. And then over here to the left of the hive, right there, is the box they came in with the sugar water that was, sustaining them for their trip. It's there. And if you look carefully right along the bottom there, I'll get a little closer. Obviously, it's not going to focus that way. You can see that indeed they have discovered it, and they are feeding from it as well. There it is. So they're over here grabbing some of the sugar that's coming out of that can. Now the other thing that we've got going, if I come back to the hive this way, is over here. There is also a feeder. Now this is the one that I'll have permanently here in place for about 6 weeks or so. And so they don't have very far. I do like open feeding as opposed to putting it in the hive for them. That way they do come out and they learn the landscape a little more. It also encourages them to come out and use natural resources as opposed to just staying in the hive. So if you look down here on the bottom, there's a lot of little holes, and they are flying in here. To find the food. Having a hard time getting it to focus on what I want to. But there they are. There's one feeding there. And if you'll wait just a little bit, she'll finish up and she'll head over to the hive. And here comes in another one. And they're just drinking their sugar water. That's generally a good idea to feed them for the first 6 weeks or so after you've hived them. And there are a lot of flowers. I mean, if you look around here right at this time of year in Florida, it's May. We've got a lot of flowers here, all kinds of flowers there. We've got a whole field of things out here. We've got cactuses that are blooming. If you look over here, there's quite a few flowers there. These big yellow ones that are native to the area. That was a field that had a lot of flowers in it. There's a lot of pine trees. They can go get the stuff they want to need to make their propolis. We planted a lot of radishes to mark where the onions are, and we just let those radish go to seed or flower, so they'll seed. And then over here you'll see that another source that they're using right now, if I can find it here in the camera, is squash. For instance, there is our squash plants on the other side of the corn, and they are loaded with flowers right now. And the melons are also blooming as well. So they've got a lot of blooms in the area they can use. But you still want to feed them using some sort of feeding system this way for the first 6 weeks. If you look over there, in that far production right there underneath that tree, is the other hive. And they are about 600 feet away from each other. You don't want them too close, obviously. You don't want them robbing from each other. So we'll come back here, and there's plenty of flowers. This gets them out, and they can still get their pollen. So in the mornings, what I found is they come and they get a lot of the sugar, so they'll use this feeding system that we set up here in the mornings. And then they will start for the pollen in the afternoons. Let me get it down a little lower here. There they are. And so they seem to go for the sugar in the morning, and then in the afternoon when it gets hot, that's when I start coming over to the entrance and I'll start seeing them come back with pollen all over their legs. So they're doing a lot of pollen collection. We did have to open the white hive yesterday because we realized in the video when I hived it, I put the queen screen against the divider, and they didn't have very good access to her. But when I did do that, I noticed that they had eaten about halfway through the candy anyway. I went ahead and poked a hole so that they can get to her quicker, and my guess is she's probably already mostly out over in the white hive. The blue hive here is probably going to be a little bit further behind. There's a little advertisement for Vlasic pickles. And so they're just coming and going. They have those two food sources. We have the jar here that will be permanent for 6 weeks. That's just a 50-50 mix of sugar to water. And there's the hive, and then if you look over there on that fence post, there is the box they came in with that last little bit of sugar there as well. That one seems to drip a little bit. I left it with the original 2 or 3 holes that the apiary put in there and didn't do anything with it. But you can do more holes if you want to get to that quicker. I'm just supplemental feeding over here with this jar of water and getting them used to it being there. And the reason why it's important to do that feeding, you might think, well, let's let them get out and let's get the flowers and get them doing natural feeding. And that is, I think, a good idea as well. That's why I like open feeding instead of in-hive feeding. But the other problem with that is you have to realize that this colony right now is in a fairly weakened state. There is not a queen laying yet. As this is a top bar hive, they don't even have any comb yet. Even in a Langstroth or with pre-laid foundations, they still have to draw their comb out at the beginning. And they don't have any of that. So they're not actually replenishing the hive yet with new workers. And, these little ladies work a lot. They jump out of this hive and they fly the equivalent of, scale miles of 10 miles at a time, sometimes to go do their work, and they come back. So they're burning themselves out fairly quickly. And actually having something close to the hive that's a good food source means they do less flying and they do less work, and they will last longer. And that also means that, every day bees are dying, no matter what, even in a healthy hive. That's just the way it is. This gives them a chance to actually start drawing out that comb, to get that queen laying, and, when she even does lay, it's going to take a little while for the eggs to start hatching anyway. So this gives a kind of a weakened colony a chance to catch up. So I would recommend that you do the feeding even in a situation like this in Florida right now where we have plenty of natural blossoms. You look right down here, you come down this leg and look right outside of their hive. There we have some flowers, if I can find them. Grass. Kind of hard to see on the screen when I'm outside. There they are. All right, so there's the flowers. They're right outside their hive. Plenty of them. And there's the hive, see. So I'm still going to do the external feeding. I think that's a good thing for these bees. You've got, a colony now of maybe 3,000 bees to 4,000 bees, 2,500 to say 3,500 bees. And those ladies have to last long enough so that the new generations can be born and start taking over the duties. And these gals work so hard, they just literally work themselves to death. And you want to give them every opportunity to get this hive going strong. It's warming up, and you can see there's quite a bit of activity now as they come and go. Some of the bees are going to the feeders, if you watch them where they go. Some of them are coming actually behind the hive and going into the property behind us. I'm not sure what they're doing over there. They're probably also going over the pine trees over to the west, getting some sap, and propolis to start packing up what they think are, air holes in the vents. And then later we'll start taking these corks out of the additional holes as they get a stronger colony so they have more space. And we'll be checking them on Saturday to see what they look like. So I'll grab the camera when we do that.